Let's be clear about something right from the start. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a criminal. According to the mountain of evidence, he was a monster. A monster who built a horrifying system, a private island where he allegedly trafficked thousands of underage girls to serve the darkest appetites of some of the most powerful people on Earth.
So let's just get right into it, because this is the question at the heart of this entire twisted story, right? How could a known predator get so close to presidents, princes, and tech billionaires? And I really want to be clear here. What we're about to break down, this isn't some wild conspiracy theory from the dark corners of the internet. No. This is a system that's been laid bare by court-proven facts and documents that have been unsealed for the world to see.
Okay, so to really get how this whole nightmare was possible, you've got to start at the beginning, with the foundation. And just like any huge, corrupt operation, it all boils down to two things: a whole lot of money and a whole lot of lies.
All right, first things first, we've got to bust a major myth. You know, the media love to paint Epstein as this financial genius, right? Some Wall Street wizard. The reality is he was a con man, a career con man. I mean, this is a guy who faked his resume just to get his first big job at the investment bank Bear Stearns. That was his real talent: deception.
And, every great con artist needs a whale, that one big score that sets them up for life. For Epstein, that whale was Leslie Wexner, the billionaire founder of Victoria's Secret. Seriously, this relationship was the absolute turning point. It's what handed him the keys to the kingdom.
So how did he do it? How did he get that control? It all comes down to this one critical thing. He somehow talked Wexner into giving him something that's, it's basically unheard of in the world of high finance: a full power of attorney. Now, what does that mean? It's a legal document that basically let Epstein act as Wexner when it came to all things money. And this right here just shows you the insane amount of control he had. All of a sudden, Epstein wasn't just some guy working for Wexner, he had total authority. That huge mansion in Manhattan? Yep, it was Wexner's. The infamous private jet, the Lolita Express, that was Wexner's too. Epstein could sell property, move around massive amounts of cash, take out loans in Wexner's name, all without needing a signature. You get it? Epstein didn't really have his own fortune. He had the keys to someone else's. So that's the billion-dollar question, right? Why on earth would a billionaire give someone that much power? And the answer, it seems, is simple: greed. Epstein sold himself as Wexner's fixer. He was the guy who would handle the dirty work, intimidate rivals. But his real specialty? Creating these super complicated schemes in tax havens to help Wexner avoid paying millions and millions in taxes. See, his value wasn't in making money, it was in hiding it.
Okay, so now he has the money. Wexner's money is the foundation. But cash alone isn't enough. He needed to launder his reputation, to clean his image. He couldn't just be some rich guy. He had to look legitimate. And his strategy for doing that, it was as cynical as it was brilliant.
He basically pulled off a total rebrand. He took off the shady financier hat and put on this respectable science philanthropist costume. He figured out something really important. Money can buy you stuff, sure, but the right kind of charitable donations, that could buy you access to a whole different level of the elite.
And his playbook for this was just shockingly simple. Step 1, donate a few million to big-name schools like Harvard and MIT. Step 2, fund some really weird, kind of fringe research that other donors wouldn't go near, like transhumanism. And step 3, and this is the genius, evil part, he'd make his donations conditional. He'd say, sure, here's a check for a few million, but in return, you have to introduce me to all your other rich donors and famous scientists. It was a transaction.
And this whole philanthropy scheme, it was all aimed at one ultimate target: Bill Gates. Because in that world, the world of tech, science, and big money charity, getting Bill Gates' stamp of approval was everything. If Gates met with you, you were legit. End of story.
So how do you hook a guy who already has all the money in the world? You don't offer him more money. You offer him something else, something he craves: recognition. According to reports, Epstein basically promised Gates two things he really, really wanted. First, an in with the Nobel Prize Committee to help him get a Nobel Peace Prize. And second, help setting up this massive new charity fund with a big bank like JP Morgan. And guess what? It worked. It totally worked. As soon as the world saw pictures of Bill Gates meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, his reputation was laundered, clean. Suddenly that shady past kind of faded away, and he was seen as this quirky but powerful philanthropist. And just like that, the door to the entire global elite swung wide open. All right, so he's got the money. He's got the access. But that brings us to the final, and by far the darkest piece of this whole puzzle, the control mechanism. How did he get these incredibly powerful people to not just hang out with him, but to be completely under his thumb?
I mean, just look at the network. And again, this isn't just gossip. This comes from flight logs, from sworn court testimony. You've got people like Prince Andrew, who kind of seemed to be the useful idiot, using Epstein's money and connections. You had Bill Clinton, who flew on Epstein's jet something like 26 times, with philanthropy being the official reason. And then you had Donald Trump, who was a party buddy back in the Palm Beach days of the 90s.
And just listen to this. This is a direct quote from Donald Trump in New York Magazine. He's a terrific guy. He likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Let that sink in. The fact that a future president of the United States could say that on the record just tells you everything you need to know about how accepted, how normalized Epstein's whole scene was in those circles.
But it begs the question, right? Why was everyone so quiet for so long? Why weren't these powerful men terrified of being exposed? The answer is Epstein's ultimate weapon. It's a classic spy movie trap, and it's called the honeypot. And here's the scheme, broken down. It was a simple four-step trap. First, you invite your powerful guests to your private island and you promise them total, absolute privacy. No cameras, no press. Step 2, you create an environment where they feel completely safe to indulge their absolute darkest fantasies. But step 3, this is the kill shot. You're secretly recording everything. Investigators found his properties were wired from top to bottom with hidden cameras. And the result? Step 4, he ends up with thousands of hours of blackmail material on the most powerful people on the planet.
There's actually a technical term for this stuff, compromat. It's an old intelligence term. It means compromising material that you gather to use for blackmail and leverage. And that is why Epstein felt so untouchable for so many years. If anyone in his network even thought about turning on him, he could destroy their career, their family, their entire life with the push of a button. He was literally holding the secrets of the global elite hostage.
So Epstein is dead. He was found in his jail cell. But, if we only focus on him, we're completely missing the bigger picture. He wasn't some one-off monster who appeared out of nowhere. No, he was a symptom of a much, much larger disease. He was created and protected by a system that's built on power and profit. Just think about it. You had massive global banks. We're talking JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, who were later fined hundreds of millions of dollars because they knew his transactions were suspicious, but they processed them anyway. Why? Profit over people. You have this bizarre culture where if you have enough wealth, it's like morality just becomes optional. And of course, you have all the legal loopholes and powerful friends that gave him immunity to let him get away with it for decades. So when you put it all together, you're left with a really disturbing final question. Yeah, Epstein is gone. But is the network he built, the system he exploited, is it really broken? Or did his case just pull back the curtain on this dark underworld where money and power are allowed to create monsters? And does it make you wonder, how many other Epsteins are still out there, operating right now in the shadows that we just don't know about yet?